Our journey into farm ownership was probably not the norm. We got the chance to go farming through a family bereavement, and so we started share milking on the Pukaka property. We farmed it as a dairy farm for about 16 years and took it from sort of the 80 cow farm up to 280 cows. We farmed this land, of course. My wife and I were lucky enough to have a family. We had three children, so I've now very proud of the fact that I've got 5 grandchildren. Who knows, one day they might end up farming this land. In 2011 we decided that we needed to get a bit bigger in our cattle operation. So we looked around and we found a property in the head of the Omaka Valley. It's a 155 hectare block we purchased there. In 2016 we were lucky enough to buy this property, Burnley, which is 300 hectares. We bit the bullet and put 40 hectares of grapes in here after year one. And so all of a sudden, within a reasonably short time, we had 3 blocks of land in 3 corners of the province. And we've got family members on all 3 of them. We're very lucky, very blessed that we can have got this operation set up. My goal was to give the children an opportunity to do what I did. I know that I won't live forever, and I know that I can't farm forever. So it was a case of, when do I make that call and let them have a go on their own? I only had to think about it for a very short period of time to say, well, I'm better to do it now, hand the reins over to them, sell the individual properties, business units to them, and I could watch them, I could help them, I could be on the end of the phone. Well, the diversification really came about because of the kids and the children were old enough that they could see that they didn't want to be dairy farmers. But then we floated the idea of putting some grapes in and some cattle, and maybe one day we could look for another block of land, and they were very supportive of that. When I thought we had some good options, my first port of call has always been to then go to my accountant, quite frankly, and Paul, to make sure financially it was going to work. I have always been a believer of having a team of people around me, accountant, bank manager, people in the dairy industry in the old days, viticulturists now, stock agents, those sort of people, to have a team around me that I could trust. When I walked in the door to Paul, and said, well, I've got a plan, he was all ears, and we went down the line and just methodically worked through the process. So as at today, what happens is Burnley is run here by Simon and Kate, and in Tuamarina, the Pukaka farm, Tom and Rebecca are farming that farm. It's hugely satisfying now to know that we've taken properties from what they were to what they are now. The challenges for the succession planning, it wasn't how the children could farm the farms. I was absolutely very confident that they could farm the farms. It was really just splitting it up and letting them have a go on their own. The biggest challenge was, were the 2 operations big enough to be viable business units? And that's where the expertise of Paul in particular came in. I did not want to sell them a lemon. The children had to borrow large sums of money to do this, and I had to be very, very clear in my mind, and they had to be very clear in their mind, that these businesses were going to be sustainable long term. I think one of the key things for the succession planning was these 2 properties are different in their own right. So the Pukaka property and this Burnley property are different, and I had to sit down with the kids and say, look, these business units will never be 100% the same. That property could be worth this much money, this property could be worth this much money. So I had to just say to them, are you happy with that? When I sort of got into my own mind that I wanted to and could split these 3 properties up into individual business units, I just went straight to Paul, my accountant, walked in the door and told him that I had a plan, and the plan was to sell the farms. So Paul just sort of said, right, let's get some budgets organised. and went through the stock list, but did budgets, split the incomes out, expenses out, to make sure that they were going to be viable business units. You've only got to sit down with a pad and pen and your accountant. You have to get the farms valued, the whole businesses get valued, and get buy-in from all parties, and it became quite simple. A bit daunting at the start, but a bit of time sitting around the table and a bit of talking became very easy. It was a matter of sitting down with both families and just going through the budgets with them to make sure that they knew what they were getting themselves in for. The succession planning to me was enjoyable but was very inspiring, because the thought of my children carrying on what I'd started, and to know that their children might carry it on, or they use the capital out of these farms to do what they want to do in another generation's time and generations further down, is very satisfying. It's very important having the right people around you. The team and the professional people around you is exceedingly important. That's where I got my confidence from. I'm a farmer at heart, farm the land. Yes, I could run a business, but going off the farm to talk to the accountants and bank managers and those sorts of people give you huge confidence on what you're about to embark into.
I've been a director here since 2018 as a result of the succession planning process. We have 38 hectares of Sauvignon Blanc, and we run an intensive cattle and sheep operation. So my wife and I have got 2 kids, 2 and a 4-year-old, and they love it out here on the farm as well. So when Dad approached us about the succession planning, we sat down as a family and discussed the options and how it would work. While succession planning can be very complex, from my point of view, it was very easy. Just trusting that it was going to work, and it was very, very enjoyable, to be fair. The key to succession planning was just, for me, was having the right people around me that I could reach out to, like my accountants, bank managers and friends. It made it a lot easier. I'm really excited about the future for this farm and my family. I want to be like Dad and have the opportunity to see my kids take things into their own hands and do what they want to do, just like we've had the same opportunity with our parents.
As a result of the succession planning process, Tom and I now own Pukarka Limited, which we've owned since 2018. So a really important part for us with the succession planning was having people around us who could really guide us, especially with the finances. Someone that the family can trust. I'm really excited for the future of our family in Pukarka, because we have got options as a family and we grow and learn on the farm all the time. We love that the kids have freedom to run around the farm, and if they wish when they're older they can take over the farm and see how they want to with it. Mum and Dad worked really hard with the farm when they first took over. They put a lot of hours into it and they achieved really a lot in their life. Sadly, Mum didn't get to see it to the end of their farming life, and I'm really proud that Dad has been able to see that he needs to take a step back and go and enjoy other things that he wants to achieve in life, and that gives us the opportunity to take on farming.
The vision going forward is for me to retire into town, still have contact with the farms when I want to, but to see the kids and the grandkids really have that opportunity, enjoy the farm life that I've been lucky enough to have. I think that's going to warm my heart as I go off into my retirement years. I just can't wait year by year to see what they do on these farms.